There is a distinct form of power that does not need to raise its voice. It is a power that wears no chains, that does not chase after likes or validation, and it feels no compulsion to prove anything to anyone. It simply enters a room, and its presence is felt by everyone there. It is that cold stillness, that silent intensity, the unshakable aura of a person who has not only witnessed chaos, but has confronted it, subdued it, and now carries that very darkness within them with a profound elegance. This is the mind of a true warrior, a mind so disciplined, so sharp, and so utterly controlled that it can terrify people without uttering a single word. Miyamoto Musashi possessed precisely this kind of mind. He was like a ghost inhabiting human skin. He emerged victorious in over 60 duels, not through brute force or simple luck, but through sheer mental dominance. He defeated his opponents before their blades were even drawn, because the battle had already been won inside his head. This discussion is not about vision boards, manifesting desires, or the pursuit of comfort. It is about forging a mind so disciplined, so strategic, and so dangerously potent that people will not know whether to fear you or to revere you. And once you comprehend how Musashi constructed that mind, you will never think the same way again. The monster was forged, not born. Musashi was not a natural prodigy. As you know, his mother died early in his life. He slept in the woods, and he was fighting grown men when he was still just a child. His very first duel ended in a kill. That was not a childhood. It was a state of perpetual war. But here is the crucial distinction. He never, ever played the victim. There were no pity parties, no public tears for the camera. Only a silent and ruthless practice of self-discipline. Do nothing which is of no use. Do you remember this quote from Musashi? You should let that line haunt you. Every video you binge watch, every excuse you make, that is weakness feeding itself. Musashi had a single, all-consuming obsession, mastery. He was indifferent to comfort. He did not care about fitting in. He deliberately chose a path that would have destroyed most men, and he walked that path entirely alone. That is the first essential step to building a terrifying mind: isolation. Because when you are alone for long enough, the real enemy finally reveals itself. It is not other people, and it is not the world. It is your own thoughts. And Musashi stared those thoughts down until they shattered into nothing. You must kill distraction, or you will be killed by it. I recall a period in my own life a few years ago when I was stuck, drowning in a sea of distractions. Every time I sat down to work, I would instinctively scroll, compare myself to others, and sink deeper into the spiral of feeling hopelessly behind. Then I discovered an old book, The Book of 5 Rings by Musashi. It was not written to be inspirational. It was written as a war manual, cold, relentless, and direct. One line punched me in the face. If you know the way broadly, you will see it in all things. That single statement changed everything for me. I had a sudden realization that I was trying to fix my life in disconnected pieces. My body, my finances, my habits. But I did not have a central code. I did not have a way. Musashi lived by one code: be prepared to die, but never be unprepared to win. After that epiphany, I deleted everything, every distracting application, every internal excuse. I began to treat every hour like a duel, not as some motivational hype, but as a matter of life or death. And my mind began to change. There was less noise and more edge, less emotion and more clarity, less reaction and more control. This is what Musashi truly teaches you. Not how to be happy, but how to be dangerous. Emotion is the enemy of execution. Musashi once said, "The primary thing when you take a sword in your hands is your intention to cut the enemy, whatever the means." That statement is not just about battle, it is a metaphor for life. You cannot build a mind like Musashi's if you are constantly reacting to everything. You cannot build anything of substance when your emotions own your decisions. Musashi was not cold by nature. He became that way through relentless discipline. He did not act from impulse. He moved from a place of deep strategy. Most men fold under pressure, not from a lack of skill, but because they never train their emotions to be silent. You can hand them the sword, the perfect plan, and the ideal moment, and they would still choke, because their feelings outrank their focus. True mastery, as Musashi said, is a mind that moves without a flicker of hesitation, not because the path is easy, but because the inner noise is gone. He did not rage, he did not beg, he did not fantasize. He just moved. And in today's world, that kind of restraint terrifies people, because when you do not react, they have no idea what you are thinking. And when they do not know what you are thinking, they start to fear what you might be capable of. Musashi trained until his mind was quieter than his own breath. Pain, fear, praise, even death all became mere data to him. He was not calm because life was easy. He was calm because he had killed the chaos inside himself. So you must ask yourself, when you are disrespected, when everything falls apart, do you act from principle or from panic? If your emotions are still running the show, you will never move like a warrior. You have to build a mind so stable, so locked in, that nothing can hijack it. Because once you master emotion, you master execution. And once you master execution, you do not need to talk about power. You simply become it. You must face death, and then nothing can touch you. Musashi meditated on death daily, not in some poetic or abstract way, but literally. He would imagine himself being killed, torn apart and forgotten. Why? Because once you fully accept death, you stop fearing it. And once you stop fearing death, you become psychologically untouchable. Musashi said, "The way of the warrior is resolute acceptance of death." Consider how many decisions you avoid out of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of what people will think. But what if you had already made peace with the worst-case scenario? What if you moved through life like a man who had nothing to lose but everything to prove? That is the moment you stop reacting like a civilian and start acting like a weapon. This is precisely why Musashi was so terrifying, not just because of what he could do, but because of what he had already faced and accepted within himself. He did not fear pain, he did not fear death, and he did not even fear loneliness. That is why no one could ever break him. What we have today is modern weakness disguised as self-care. Here is a bitter truth. Most of what is called self-care today is merely escapism in a different package. We are told to take a break, to be gentle with ourselves, to protect our peace. But no, Musashi did not protect his peace. He earned it by walking directly through fire. Your mind does not get stronger by avoiding stress. It gets stronger by conquering it. You do not grow by feeling safe. You grow by walking into fear, fully aware that it might destroy you, and doing it anyway. People today want the strength of warriors without their discipline. They want peace without sacrifice, power without suffering, and wisdom without scars. But no such path exists, and Musashi knew this. He wrote, "You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor." This means you must not betray your own potential just because the world makes weakness look trendy. You must create inner silence, or you will be a slave to noise. Musashi spent the final years of his life in a cave, completely alone, writing, thinking, training, and dying slowly but with immense grace. And here is what is truly wild. He did not fear the silence. He became sharper within it. Most people today cannot sit in silence for even 5 minutes without freaking out. They need constant noise, endless stimulation, something, anything, to run from the voice inside their own head. Musashi, in contrast, ran directly toward that voice. And the more you train your mind to sit in absolute stillness, no music, no scrolling, no talking, the more your mind transforms into an impenetrable fortress. Because once your thoughts stop controlling you, you begin to control everything. You must be the storm, not the branch that is broken by it. Here is what they do not tell you. Life is brutal. People will lie to you, friends will vanish, your plans will fail. You will be betrayed, mocked, underestimated, and left for dead. And no one is coming to save you. Musashi knew that, so he trained his mind like a blade, not to cut others, but to cut through reality itself. No fear, no fantasy, just pure clarity, precision, and purpose. And if you do that, if you build a mind that does not flinch, does not beg, and does not need external validation, you will scare people, not because you are cruel, but because they will see in you something they no longer recognize, a man who cannot be broken. This brings us to the blade's final breath. The world is full of noise, but Musashi teaches you to become the silence inside it. The world is full of fear, but Musashi shows you how to walk naked into the storm and emerge calm. This is not about swords. This is about your mind, your personal code, your future. Build a mind so strong that it genuinely scares people, because they will know that they can take your money, your status, even your body, but they will never, ever be able to touch your mind. And in that silence, in that stillness, in that deadly calm, you will be able to smile, because you will have become the blade itself. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I will see you in the next one.